Hello, this is a quick video on collision theory. Collision theory is a theory that encapsulates how do reactions actually happen, like what do the molecules do in order for a reaction to happen. So far we've covered types of reactions and we can predict our products, but what do the molecules actually do to make the reaction happen? And according to collision theory, which is a theory that explains how reactions really happen at the molecular level, there are 3 requirements in order to make a reaction happen, and they're listed for you here. This Google image or Google drawing, whatever it might be called, is posted on my website, so if you want to make yourself a copy, go for it. And that can serve as your notes, and you can add any parts in that you need to. Okay, so number 1. The first thing you need according to collision theory is an actual collision. I know, it seems so shocking, right? So if you take a look at this picture here, you can see that there's one reactant is the blue stuff, and one reactant is the red guy. And when the blue guy and the red guy actually collide, a reaction could happen. Now a collision isn't the only thing that needs to happen. You have to have 2 other things happen. And that goes to number 2, energy requirement. So if we go back to our drawings that we've seen before, this endo and exo idea down here. So we covered this big bump right here. I always said that you need like a whoop-dee. And the whoop-dee happens for endothermic and exothermic, and that's called activation energy. So the energy requirement according to collision theory is called activation energy. And let's bring it back to something that we kind of covered before. If you look in this chart, I kind of put it off to the side because it's kind of like a little side note. It doesn't really cover in collision theory, but it is sneakily there. So this right here, let's say one of the reactions was H2. So you have a hydrogen-hydrogen bond. In order for the reaction to happen, the first thing you have to do is actually break this bond in half, because in a reaction, the hydrogens will no longer be attached to each other. They're going to be reacting with something else. So the amount of energy that you need to make the reaction happen, or in other words, activation energy is defined as the amount of energy needed in order for the reaction to happen, would be, for example, if you had to break the 2 bonds, it would be to input 458 kilojoules per mole of energy to break that hydrogen bond. And that would get you, I don't know, something like this, like from here to here to make that reaction happen. And let's say you had another reaction. Well, that'll be how much energy it takes you from here to here. And that'll be your total activation energy. That's the energy requirement for the reaction to actually happen. Alright, let's go on to number 3 then. The third part is orientation. Orientation is the idea that you can't just have things collide, they have to collide in the correct manner. I actually have another image here, but you can't see it. Well, you'll see it when you open the Google drawing. It's the idea that if you have 2 molecules like this one, and it's going to react with something like this molecule, if you're going to collide them, you have to collide them in a certain sort of way, a certain orientation. It's kind of like if you put a puzzle together. You can't just throw the pieces at each other and they collide and boom, then your puzzle's made. They have to hit in a certain way. So if these 2 happen to hit this on this side, the reaction might not happen. It might be that these 2 actually have to hit from the side, right there in that spot. And that would be the orientation has to be correct. Can we really control how the molecules are oriented in space? No, you really can't. It's really by chance. Do they happen to hit on the left side or the right side, the top side or the bottom side? We can't really control that. But orientation has to be just right in order for reaction to happen. So those are the 3 things according to collision theory. They have to be collide, energy requirement, or an orientation. We'll see you tomorrow.